My life. Well, hi everyone. This is Margaret Hirschs from Hirschs, and I'm in Buffalo in America at the moment. We've got Kerry Dell coming in from New Zealand. We've got Sumia in Cape Town, and we have got Tamara in Johannesburg. So really coming from all over the countryside to you tonight. And our subject is longevity. How do we keep living better for longer? We don't want to be living old and sick. We want to be living fantastic for our longest possible time. We want to be looking our best and looking amazing right up until the last minute. You know, what the old saying was, live fast, die young, and have a good looking corpse. I'm determined to have a good looking corpse when I go. So, and how are we going to do it? So we're going to teach you how to do this, and it's going to be really, really amazing. We all have our own ideas, and we're hoping that you will take what you want out of this and have your own ideas too at the end of it. So I'm going to, we've got one of our team who's just putting her baby to bed. So we're going to be waiting for her to come in. So Shane, just let me know when Sumia joins. But in the meantime, I'll introduce Kerry Dell from WildFit and my friend Tamara Pfeiffer, who is a longevity expert, just come back from Israel talking about longevity. But Kerry, I think you come on in first, say hi to everybody and tell us what you've been up to this week.
Yeah, hi everybody, and thank you once again for being here. We love these webinars because, as you know, we're just sharing lots and lots of information, and the more that you can take and the more that you can take action on what we're saying, the results are going to show. They're really going to show. So I think just absolutely go for it. So it's been another brilliant week. I have different programs, and so I'm running a program at the moment called Back to Spring, which is going in the seasons, and I'm really excited about that because it's talking about, is it a good idea to have a hunter mentality when you're eating or a gatherer? And if you take it back to all our ancestors, how they used to eat, there were the hunters and there were the gatherers, and I truly believe that the hunters were the meat eaters and the gatherers were the ones that gathers the fruit and the veggies. And so there is definitely different people on the planet today that thrive in both. So some are vegans, vegetarians, others are carnivores and more meat eaters. And you've got to find what works for you, what really works for your system, what allows your body to digest very quickly, very easily, so that you can absorb the nutrients that you need to actually get you going. So, yes, I'm really pleased to be doing one of those programs starting today, actually, which is really exciting. And then, yeah, I just continue to do lots of coaching. And I think when we talk about longevity, there is so many different aspects. So I'm really pleased we've got our guest speakers on today, because they're going to give us even more information about how we can put some things in place. But for me, when you look at longevity, I often, relate it to, you look at a toddler growing up, look at the energy of a toddler. Look how they're just jumping off the walls and doing everything. And then you look at possibly going to visit somebody in an old age home, and you look at how slow they're moving, and their body is really slowed down. Now, this is what longevity means to me, is to have this energy and vitality in every cell in your body for as long as possible. So how do we get this frequency? How do we get this vibration? How do we get this energy still sustained? And when I do some of the programs, including WildFit, and I look at an assessment beforehand, I often take somebody's metabolic age, and we have a look at the metabolic age, and then we have a look at the after. Now, for instance, I had this one woman that came to me. She was 47 years old, but her metabolic age was 57. Her cells had started slowing down. But after just 3 months, we managed to reverse that by 20 years. She came back and she was 37. Her metabolic age had reversed by 20 years. It's phenomenal how we can actually do it, and we can do it with the real basics. We can do it with the water and the good nutrients and the movement of our body and good breathing that we're doing and the slowing down and de-stressing our system. So I know that it's possible. I really know what it's possible. But I'm going to love to hear from our guests tonight as well, and see what their tips are. But, really, if you move your body, you're going to move your cells. If you put good nutrients in your body, your cells are going to respond. They're going to vibrate. If you put water and hydrate your cells, they are definitely going to thank you, and you'll be able to remove toxins. So toxins are massive in our world today. Toxins are absolutely massive. So we've got to, on a regular basis, keep detoxing. Keep detoxing. So whatever that means to you, whether it's eating good foods, whether it's doing fasting, whether it's actually doing a combination, whatever that means, I would do it. I would implement it, because we always need to get these toxins out. We've got chemicals that are surrounding us in our environment. We've got chemicals in our food. We've got chemicals in the medication. We've got chemicals everywhere. And our bodies are natural bodies. We're natural beings. We should be putting natural food and living food into this living body so we can live longer. And that's my philosophy. If we've got living food in a living body, we live longer. If you put dead food and food that is processed and food that comes in boxes and tins into a living body, we're not going to live longer. So really take that on board when you make the choices about what are we putting into this living body, and how am I going to get these cells vibrating, and how am I going to turn back the clock, because that's all really possible.
Yeah, and people always say, when should I start? Well, the answer is 20 years ago, but if you didn't start, then today's the day. So I'm going to ask Shane to put up one of my favorite pictures, and I know you've all seen it before, but it's such a reminder about women. Both these women are 83 years old in the picture, and what makes the difference? When did they decide that they were going to be different, and how did these women feel? And I'm hoping Shane hasn't fallen off this. Oh, yeah, he hasn't fallen. So these women, both 83 years old, both decided one day that they would be young, or one day that they would be old. And that was their choice. So what is your choice, and what are you doing about it? And that's what we hear. This is an action thing. So thank you, Shane. I can't look at that other 83-year-old another second. She would drive me insane. And that's how I don't want to end up. And when I see my friends shuffling along and can't walk and can't do this, I can't go there, I can't do this, I just think, oh my God, there's so much life left, and you've got to get going on it. So Tamara's just come back from the longevity seminar conference in Israel, and she's got all the latest. So Tamara, come on in and tell us what you learned over there.
Hello, everybody. So it's just unbelievable the time that we're alive in today. The research has got such an exponential growth into longevity medicine at the moment. We're only a few years away from being able to almost halt the aging process, and then just a few years until we can really start to reverse it and regenerate in a meaningful way. What's really interesting about what Kerry said is that we are such individuals. And finding that thing that works for you and looking deeply into yourself, down to the biochemistry and the blood test, down to your genetic tests, and not treating medicine as a one-size-fits-all. It's such old science to treat everybody the same. And that's what's so incredible, is we're able to individualize and structure programs specifically for each person. It's really amazing. And we can now test with pinpoint accuracy your biological age. So your biological age, as we said, doesn't have to be the same as your chronological age at all. In fact, Margaret, that photograph you showed, the lady in the red, she only started exercising and getting into shape in her 60s. So it wasn't a lifelong choice for her either. So again, it's never too early and it's never too late to really make a change to your health. So there's an awesome test that we're doing now through Harvard University, and it actually tests, it's like almost like little stickers that stick onto your DNA, and it silences certain genes. So what we're finding out now is that we're not less and less able to produce our hormones. We're not less and less able to produce collagen. It's just that we've got little stickers silencing the genes, and we're now finding ways to pull those stickers off. So if we can pull the sticker off, your gene's ability to still produce collagen and to still produce hormones and still stay young, it's still there. We just need to unsilence it. It's so awesome. So we can test your biological age now with accuracy on your DNA, and we can test the speed at which you're aging, and we can slow down your aging process within 2 to 3 weeks. So it's super, super fast. And a huge portion of it is how we live and eat. You know, stop putting those inflammatory foods into the body, move daily, doing all of these things. I mean, something so simple and free is if you just walk 10,000 steps a day, you can reverse the age of your immune system. I mean, we all learned so much during COVID about how important that age of your immune system is and how the effects of these kinds of pandemics or unexpected diseases can be if your immune system is older. So we've got this little guy here called your thymus, and it's like the CIA headquarters, and it trains your immune system. So they come, little cells come and they don't know what to do, and they come to your thymus, and your thymus says, okay, you're going to attack COVID and you're going to attack the next germ. And once it's chosen its germ, then it's going to only go for that germ. But the problem is, by the time we're 25, we only have 30% of our thymus left. By the time we're 50, we're down to 15%. And just walking 10,000 steps a day can actually regrow this thymus gland and give you a youthful immune system. And it's such an awesome, easy thing to do. And we can all do it. So these steps are not crazy expensive things. They're things that we can all implement and do.
Tamara, I've also
And what
heard
about
tapping.
breathing? You know,
Sorry, Margaret.
Yeah, tapping and breathing. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. And breathing deep into the lungs. You know, so many of us are breathing just in our chests. In fact, the way we're sitting in front of our computers, you know, this position of bent over and typing, it's incredibly damaging and putting pressure on our heart and our lungs. They're saying sitting is the new smoking. And children as young as 7 in America are having to get spinal fusion from this position of looking at the phones, from all that pressure on that spine. So by sitting up and getting that oxygen all the way down into the lungs and that belly breathing, oh my goodness, it's such a gift to your body.
What about other exercises like going to the gym and yoga and that type of thing? I mean, I think as an old, my worst is seeing a woman jogging. A woman jogging down the road, especially an overweight woman jogging, looks so awful. And, you know, I try and tell them not to do that. What else can we do just to get that body moving?
So we want to work smart, not hard, right? We're all busy and we want to get the most out of our workout. And the truth is that you want to build muscle and you want to burn fat. We're not there to burn sugar. And if we think about how our body was designed, if our heart rate went up, it was because something was going to kill us and eat us, right? And so if something is going to kill you and eat you, you need fast release energy, and it needs to go to your brain and your muscles so you can make a plan and run away. Now, in that situation, there isn't enough time to break down fat and create energy and then make a plan. We need fast release energy like sugar. So the minute the heart rate goes up, your liver starts pumping sugar into the blood. So if you are running or spinning or high heart rate and your liver is pumping sugar into the blood, 15% of all of those calories you're burning come from fat, and the rest is all from sugar. So we want to generally keep the heart rate down. We can lift it up in bursts if we want to, like HIIT training. But staying agile, staying functionally strong is incredibly important. And if we want to build muscle, we need to work to failure. What we found now is that we can get to failure much faster by doing very, very slow repetitions. So if you're doing a leg press and you're taking 30 seconds to press up and 30 seconds to come back again, you can get to exhaustion within 3 reps and build the same amount of muscle you would in 40 minutes. You can do it in 12 minutes a week.
I was just going to say, I'm a big fan of that because there are quite a number of scientific evidence now saying that we don't have to exercise every single day. We actually should do, like you said, resistance training until there's muscle exhaustion, and then rest, let it repair. Let your muscles repair and then go back and do it again. So you can really take out 20 minutes, 30 minutes a week just to do really intensive stuff, and then you relax. And then you absolutely relax. So 100% on board with that. And I think more and more evidence is coming out that those bursts and then relaxing, because that's what the ancestors did. And when you think about, you know, the hunter-gatherer tribes, they were all looking really good. You know, they were not obese people in that, but they never went and exercised every day. they went when they needed food. They might have gone on a hunt and a run, or when they were running away from animals. So if you go back to traditionally how our bodies are actually made, and how our bodies can be made in the with the muscle toning, with the muscle strength, with the muscle functioning, I think 100% on board with you with that.
Yeah, the answer is more
Yeah,
often.
and then
Sorry.
I lost everybody there, but if I can come in quickly and just say, Tamara, tell us about supplements. How important are supplements to our ordinary food?
So again, it's genetics, right? So if you can do your genetic profile, which has come down in price dramatically over the last few years. I mean, it was $1 million to sequence the genome, 4,000 Rand to sequence the genome. So it's worth doing because you only have to do it once. And South Africa has some of the top labs in genetic testing, unbelievable labs. Our one lab has just gone to America and has taken over America because we're one of the top 3 labs in the whole world. So it's really something worth doing, but that will tell you if, for example, so for me, I cannot break down vitamin B6, B12, and folic acid from food to make energy in my body. My body just, it can't do it. So I have to take the activated form of the nutrient. And if I don't, it puts me at risk of heart disease, it puts me at risk of low energy, but even can affect my personality because the B vitamins lead into a different cycle that replenishes my used up serotonin. So if I don't take it, if I have a super happy day, then I'll be down for 2 days afterwards because my body just can't make it in time. So really as an individualized approach, or if you want to manipulate a little bit on your epigenetics. So what I mean by epigenetics is your genes aren't the final story. It's only 25%. So you have 75% control over how those genes will express themselves. So we just, the environment that we bathe those genes in is so important. But yes, supplements, if you need them, we should take them. I need it. If I don't have that B vitamin, I just can't get it from food. But it's again, not one size fits all.
And what about the vitamin B injection? You know, we go to Discount and get that vitamin B injection. What do you think about that?
Look, as a quick boost, it's fine, I suppose. It hurts. But for me, if your body's not making B vitamins, it's pointless doing it once a week. You need B vitamins every day. So I like getting things from food firstly, and if your body can't get it from food, or if you need an extra boost, so if you have a chronic illness or something where we need to boost to try and reverse things, then for me, daily supplements are better than IV nutrient therapy or an injection.
And we need to remember that there's a lot of the B vitamins live in our liver. So if our livers are not functioning correctly, if we've got fatty liver disease, if we are eating with processed foods, and if there's a lot of fermenting going on in our guts and our liver is not functioning correctly, we're going to be low in those vitamin Bs. So looking after the liver for me is absolutely crucial as well. It's really, really crucial because the liver is responsible for over 700 different functions in the body. And so a lot of people come to me and they go, my thyroid is imbalanced. I'm on thyroid meds. I'm going, did you get your liver checked? Did you get your liver checked? Because the liver is responsible for converting the T4 to T3. The thyroid produces, but the liver converts. So we need our livers to be functioning at peak performance. And so that is often also missed when we are trying to, trying to do supplements or trying to look after our health. Is actually, we've also got to look after this beautiful, beautiful organ of ours, the liver. And Tamara, you must have come across so many studies with the liver as well, and how we actually look after them, how we actually look after the liver. So yeah.
Absolutely. The body is such a symphony of things. We can't look at things in isolation. So it's very often, and a lot of people miss it, and a lot of people are doing very surface level tests when they're not feeling well. It's a very basic test that's done. And when nothing comes out, this is my pet peeve. If somebody goes for help and they're told it's in their head, I want to cry. because that person would not go all the way to see somebody if it was in their head. It's just that that person has done the wrong test. They haven't found the source of the problem. So we need to, it has to be individualized, everybody's approach. We need to find the root cause of what's going on. We need to dig deeper. But the number one thing is clean up the lifestyle. You know, we live, the world has unfortunately evolved, or fortunately, I don't know, both fortunately and unfortunately, our environment has evolved way faster than our genes could keep up with. And so we need to do everything we can in our power to clean up the environment around us and clean up the environment that's going into us, so that we can shake that tree, let the dead leaves fall off, and see what's really left that needs fixing.
100%. I have to just tell you a story when you say it's in your head. Years and years ago, I had a lady come and see me. She had spent 2 years with the doctors with a leaky bladder. She was 24 years old. She was fit and healthy. She says, I don't know what it is. I've got this leaky bladder. The doctors had operated and enlarged her bladder, and it was still leaky. It was still leaky. So they told her it's in her head. It's in her head. She's going, this is physical. This is physical. How can it be in my head? Anyway, the testing that I do actually has a look to see whether there's any parasites, bacteria, viruses, any of those pathogens lurking in the body, because it's those toxins that we want to remove. And we found a nest of parasites on her spine that was causing issues to the nerve to the bladder. So we did a detox and actually killed off the parasites, and her bladder was fine. Her bladder was fine. So yes, 100% clearing out the body, clearing out these pathogens, because another thing is, they love to hide. They love to hide. So you'll get viruses and bacteria in your body that has been there since childhood. And it's like, okay, well, we've got them under control because our immune system is working fine, and we've got the immune system under control. And it can take one incident, one accident, one trauma, one stressful situation, and all of a sudden these things come alive. You know, they really come alive and they become active in your body. And then it's the start of a whole journey for you. So if we can be proactive, I think that is what we are trying to advocate here, is be proactive, do lots of detoxing on a regular basis, and don't allow an environment inside your body for these things to thrive, for these pathogens to thrive. Tamara, I want to find out from you as well, what do you think about, you know, having an environment which is quite acidic or quite alkaline? So, you know, how do you look in terms of how to get an overall really good environment inside our body?
So that's a really interesting thing. So I get a lot of patients who get confused between acidity in the stomach and acidity in the body and what does what. So I'm going to go this way a bit, and then I'm going to come back to your question. If I forget to answer your question, just remind me. But one of the big things I find in practice is this heartburn, indigestion, reflux, and then going into lower digestive. So the challenge is that in the latest research in the last 10 years, 95% of acid reflux and indigestion is from too low stomach acid, not too high.
100%, 100%.
But no one's told that when they go to the doctor. So what happens is we take antacids to switch off the acid even further, which means we can't digest B6, B12 protein. If we're not making enough stomach acid, your liver and your pancreas only make enough alkaline enzymes to neutralize. So we're not digesting in the stomach, now we're not digesting in the intestine. Your intestine is responsible for 80% of your inflammatory and immune signals and 97% of your happy hormone serotonin. So when all of these things are imbalanced and we're switching these things off, it's a problem. And the one thing that switches off stomach acid is stress. Why stress? Because when that tiger was fighting or killing us, your body only wants to make a plan and run away. It can't spend energy on digestion and reproduction, so it switches it off, which is fine if you're only running away for 3 minutes and then you stop. But we are running for 40, 50 years. So 40, 50 years, no acid, no digestion, problems with hormones and reproduction, exhaustion, all of these things going on. And acidity is good in the stomach. This is where I was going back to. Acidity is important in the stomach, but alkalinity is important in the body.
100%.
Long way to get there.
Yeah, no, 100%. And the best way to increase your stomach acidity, this is what I have discovered: celery juice. Celery juice first thing in the morning on an empty stomach. First thing in the morning on an empty stomach, celery juice. I know there was a question that popped up in the chat, like, what is the best detox? And once again, I think it comes back to you. It comes back to you being an individual, because there are numerous different types of detoxing. And I have different programs as well that go through different things that your body is needing at the time. But if you can just do celery juice first thing in the morning on an empty stomach, or some type of smoothie that includes celery, it's anti-inflammatory, it's anti-acidic, and it actually builds up the hydrochloric acid in the stomach while it cleans out the digestion. So it prepares your body for whatever else is coming into your system. So the next thing that you put in your body after the celery juice is actually going to be absorbed a lot easier, and you'll be able to get all your macro and micronutrients out of those foods. So if there's one thing you guys want to start doing now, it's celery juicing, or we do an Alka-Jaza smoothie, which has a lot of celery in it. And so we alkaline the body with an Alka-Jaza smoothie. And I know we've given the recipe before, but we can give it again. The Alka-Jaza smoothie is actually made up of celery. It's made up of cucumber, spinach, and avocado. Those are the main ingredients. And then for those that want to alter the taste a little bit, I love putting some ginger in, or you can put an apple in, or, you know, just put something in that you know you're going to get more of the good stuff in straight away, first thing in the morning. So that's what I would highly recommend for those good stomach acids. As Tamara said, we need high stomach acidity to break down the food so we can absorb the nutrients. And then the rest of the body needs to be alkaline. Cool.
And when we're talking about detox, it's not just about doing a flush and getting bad stuff out. It's about taking the stress off of the body by removing bad foods that are causing problems, causing inflammation. And it's about, as Kerry was saying, it's about optimizing your detoxification organs, your liver and your kidneys, making sure they're working as well as possible so they can deal with what's going on in our environment. So we're upregulating our body function while we're taking the stress off of the body by removing the foods that are aggravating the problem. So it's not just juice fasts and things like this. It's a really scientific thing that we're helping the body to function well.
Absolutely.
Okay, when I logged off just now, I still couldn't get back on the airport Wi-Fi, so I'm back on my own Wi-Fi. Please can Shane just read out Jayshree's question about DNA testing, because I've done DNA testing, which was amazing to me. Alan's just done another one to get his ancestral, because he's going back into his ancestors. Where did they come from? Who were they? And DNA testing, you can find your ancestors. I don't want to find mine. They were a bit hectic, so I'd rather leave them where they are. But just tell Jayshree about DNA. Can you share the details for DNA testing, or recommend companies? Is there a particular test we should be asking for? Because they want to go and have the DNA test. I know Ancestry does one, Jayshree, and I think it's free. They just send it to you, and you just spit on this piece of thing and send it back, and they tell you exactly where all your ancestors came from. Mine was a shock and a surprise, I have to tell you, but that's a whole nother story I'll tell you one day. But I think, you know, to me, DNA testing was better than blood testing, because that tells you exactly what, and you understand. I mean, Alan, his whole body is Mediterranean. He comes from Mediterranean people. He loves Mediterranean food. It gets on with him. He gets on with it. Mine was a whole different ball game. So I don't know, Tamara, do you want to talk about DNA testing? Have you done DNA testing, and what do you think about it?
Yes, I do DNA testing on most of my patients. So what's really important is blood tests tell you what's going on in your body right now, but DNA testing is telling you what could potentially happen in the future, or a deeper reason to what's going on right now. So both are really important. There are two kinds of DNA, and then I'm going to tell you about ancestral DNA, which is also really interesting. So let me go on this one first because it's shorter. So ancestral DNA, which is really fascinating, is that there are two ways of testing. We can test your DNA, which are our cells' DNA, or we can test our mitochondrial DNA. So mitochondria are bacteria that invaded humans many, many years ago, and now we can't live without them. But the fun thing is that you can trace your mitochondrial DNA way further back, like tens of thousands of years back, where your DNA, we can't trace that far. And your mitochondrial DNA, you only get from your mom. You don't get any from your dad, because the dad's mitochondria is in the tail of the sperm. So when the egg gets fertilized, the tail falls off. So you only have maternal DNA. So you can test your maternal line back tens of thousands of years, way further than your paternal line. That's just a fun fact. But the testing that we do is, there's two kinds. We have high penetrance genetic testing and low penetrance. High penetrance is more about things like BRCA1, BRCA2, like Angelina Jolie did, where if you are positive with that gene, you have 90% and above chance of getting the breast cancer, the Alzheimer's, the Huntington's disease, whatever it is that you're testing for. It's a much scarier thing to go for. It's something you need counseling for, and you don't have very much control over the outcome. The genetic testing that we tend to do is low penetrance genetic testing. In this testing, you have between 20 and 25% of your outcome is based on the DNA, but you have a 75 to 80% control factor over how those genes express themselves. So it's much more a tool of empowerment. The laboratory that I love is called 3x4 Genetics. 3x4 Genetics was started by Yael Jaffe, a professor in South Africa at Stellenbosch University. They've just launched in America. The reason I like them the most is they do one panel. It covers 36 different areas of analysis and 106 genes. So it's one of the most that you can get in a panel, especially in essay. And what makes them so unique is the way we used to test genes is we would delete a gene out of a mouse, poor mousie. We would delete the gene out of the mouse, and then we would see what symptoms that mouse gets. And those symptoms would be what the gene does. So if you delete it, you get symptoms. But then some clever scientists deleted the same gene out of several generations of mice. And some of the mice never got the symptoms. So how is it possible that you can delete the gene and not get the symptoms? What happens is our body is very, very smart. It learns from our ancestors. And if there's a deleted gene, then other genes in that same pathway start to compensate. So you don't get the effect as much because your body has switched on other genes to compensate. And what 3x4 does is they test multiple genes along every pathway so they can give you an accurate view of what's going on in that pathway, whereas many other genetic tests only do single gene testing still. So it's a very isolated view, whereas this is giving you a much broader view of your health.
That's just incredible what they're doing today. Now, Kerry, I don't know, have you ever done blood testing to see how your blood is? Because I think that's quite important. And I know tomorrow is great on blood testing, but Kerry, tell me your section first, then we'll go on to tomorrow.
Yeah, and absolutely. But the blood testing that I normally request is, things that have really like the liver function and the organ functions that is happening in the blood. So I'm a huge fan of getting that liver back into some sort of balance, because I just truly believe that so much, because the liver is responsible for over 700 different functions, there's just so much that can actually go wrong if we haven't been really specific about, testing, is the liver really functioning correctly? So I'm very much so on board with, doing specific blood tests for that. But I'm loving what Tamara is saying about the DNA testing and the gene testing, because also the gene testing prices has come down so dramatically that I think that is a really, really good indication of what's happening in your body. And then we can actually put a plan in place. Once you've got the information, once you've got that, we can put a plan in place. But I don't just do blood testing. A lot of things that I do is bioresonance testing, because every cell has a vibration and it has a frequency. So the scientific tools that I use is based on the frequency of your cells in your body. And if you've got a healthy cell, it's going to vibrate at a good frequency. If you've got an unhealthy cell, it's going to vibrate at a low frequency. And so I use bioresonance and quantum technology to also test how every cell in your body is doing. So are your stem cells strengthening? Are your stem cells, what are they focusing on? Because in the testing that I do, I can look at the biochemistry, I can look at the pathopathology, and I can look at pathogens within those cells. And so if those cells are focusing on healing the bones, then I dig a little bit deeper and again, well, why are they focusing on the bones? Well, they might be focusing on the bones because the gut absorption is not good and the body wants to survive. So if you're not getting your full nutrients in, the body's going to go, that's okay, I'm just going to pull it from the bones. I'm just going to pull my minerals from my bones. So when you know where your stem cells are focusing, it's often a case on supporting them. And when you support them and actually go with what your body is saying, then what you do is you actually heal quicker. And we do want to put the healing process in place quicker so that we can actually turn that clock back, because that's really what we're looking at. So I look at erythrocytes as well. So where is your body inflamed? So erythrocytes are your blood cells that tell us where the inflammation is in your body. And so the minute you can actually target where the inflammation is, it's the same sort of thing. We need to calm that down. We need to know where's your body focusing and be able to calm that down. So, so Margaret, you'll be really pleased to hear that when you do your fasting, your different types of stem cells strengthen absolutely within the first 20 hours of fasting. So you can, within the first day of doing a fast, your stem cells are strengthening. And so when that starts happening, you know that your healing is happening at a better rate. So I love the fasting for that reason. And then obviously, if you're doing fasting over a full moon is when the pathogens multiply in the body. And so we really also want to make sure that those pathogens are under control. And so doing a fast over full moon is going to also accelerate that process within your system and be able to make sure that your body is totally under control. So, so yes, I do quite a few different types of testing to really look at the cells within your body and how they're functioning. And everybody is different. Every single person is different.
Okay, now I keep getting chopped off here, so I keep losing the chat, but somebody in the chat was talking about urinary tract infections. Now, I know at my staff, oh my God, never a week goes by that somebody is not off with a urinary tract infection. Tomorrow I'm going to ask you, what can we do to stop those happening?
So we want to create an environment that the bugs don't like. So it's really, really important to make sure that the environment is healthy for your cells and not so healthy for the bugs. There are lots of things that we can do to help once we have a urinary tract infection, but we want to stop it from happening. So we want a nice alkaline diet, healthy digestive tract. But once you have it, we can do things like, we know about cranberry, but we don't want to do cranberry juice. Cranberry juice is full of sugar. Cranberry tablets, the bugs they like the sugar on the cranberry more than they like the wall of your bladder. So they'll release and grab onto the cranberry and you can weed them out. And D-mannose prevents them from attaching to the wall. So there are things you can do once you have a bladder infection. But we want to make sure that we're wearing nice bamboo or cotton underwear, that we can breathe, and we're not wearing all those silky, nylon, plasticky things. We need a nice environment so she can breathe nicely down there and be happy. And then make sure we're having lots and lots of water, we're hydrated, we have a great diet. I think Kerry can help us more on the diet side for bladder infections.
Yeah, I'm 100%.
And I think anybody who has urinary, the water is what does it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Delicious water.
Yes, my delicious water. That's why you'll see me drinking constantly. It's, lots and lots of delicious water coming in. But Tamara, 100%, when people get UTIs on a regular basis, it means that there's actually hidden bacteria that you haven't really got to. And as I said, these bacteria and pathogens can hide in your body for years. for years. So if every now and again you keep on getting it and you keep on taking an antibiotic, the antibiotic might just be getting rid of it there and then, but not actually going to where is the root cause of that bacteria, what is feeding that bacteria in your body on a regular basis, and what do you need to do to really put that under control immediately once and for all, instead of, you know, this repeated infections that you could be getting. And yes, it's about getting the bacteria out and getting the candida out of the body, getting the funguses out of the body, because that's also a good reason why you keep on getting UTIs, is the whole environment. And it can actually be that it's coming from your gut, or it can actually be that you've got these hidden bacteria somewhere else in your body. So we need to absolutely get them totally out the system. One of the tests that I did, I found Streptococcus bacteria in this woman's ovaries. And she was 39 years old, battling to fall pregnant. And I said to her, your environment in your uterus, your ovaries, your tubes, full of bacteria. It's full of bacteria. And she went, oh my goodness, she said, from the age of 5 years old, every year I've been on antibiotics for strep throat and flus. She had tonsillitis on a regular basis. She says, oh my goodness. So I've actually just been putting the Band-Aid on, and I actually haven't treated it, never ever in my life, to get it out my system. And now it goes to the weak points. It goes and it hides in your weak points. So it's really a good idea to get on a phenomenally good detox nutritional program. And also really, you can't just do it overnight. I have to be honest. You know, people want the quick fix nowadays, and they want to be able to get rid of it. Like, I want it now, and I want it gone now. But if you're really trying to attack some of these things that are showing up on a regular basis, we need to do it on a longer period. So some people it takes 3 months, some people it takes 6 months, some people it'll take a year or two. It's probably been there for 30, 40 years, and we need to take time to get it out. But if you are consistent, you're really consistent, and you really put plans in place to make your body a lot healthier with a healthier environment and detoxing on a regular basis, on an absolute regular basis, you can do it. You can absolutely do it, and you can get there.
Now, Tamara, what do you think about that detoxing? What's the best and easiest way to detox?
I think an important thing, just before we answer that question for people, is by removing these foods that are causing inflammation and causing stress in the body, it's not a punishment. It's a celebration of this amazing body you have. We're not depriving ourselves of all the yummy things in life. We're just finding the yummy things in stuff made by the earth. You know, I find that the more people have had to do with our food, the more it's made for profit and less for nutrition. So really just focusing on earth-made stuff. And when we're hydrating, I wanted to say this earlier, when we're hydrating, please be careful of microplastics and nanoplastics. We're just plagued with micro and nanoplastics now. The nanoplastics are so small that they're sitting in our cell membrane, in our cells, in our DNA. We don't know how to get rid of it. They found these plastics in umbilical cords, in mother's milk. It's everywhere. And the biggest culprits for microplastics is drinking out of plastic bottles and tea bags. They're saying that people that drink out of plastic bottles on a regular basis are eating an average of 8 credit cards of plastics a year, and we can't get it out again. What was the question again?
How do we detox your body?
What's the best way to detox? Yeah.
I think Kerry would be the best at the detox question, but long term, it's important to consistently every single day, at least 80-20 rule, to choose the right foods that are not causing inflammation. So the programs that I give are, we want to avoid grains, we want to avoid legumes, sugars, dairy, legume, sugars, dairy, alcohol as much as possible. They found the healthiest alcohol is actually tequila because it's the one with the lowest mold content compared to wines and beers and whiskeys. But generally, if we can just be consistent and keep our environment as anti-inflammatory as possible, then the times when we go out and we have that croissant or we have the piece of cake, it's not the end of the world. But we need to be good during the week at least and play 1 or 2 days in the weekend and not the other way around. But doing full detox programs, Kerry, I'm going to hand over to you.
No, that's absolutely perfect. And it's about putting more of the good stuff in. If we put more of the good stuff in, we're giving our bodies an opportunity to handle the bad stuff. So living foods into a living body so we can live longer. If you can just remember that, it's like, am I choosing a living food? Am I choosing food that is already going to start breaking down as soon as it goes into my mouth? Because then you're going to take the heavy work of the digestion organs away if you're putting living food in here. You know, think about putting processed food and putting dead food into this living body. Our digestive organs have to work hard. They really have to work hard. They have to secrete these different enzymes and go, how do I break that down? How do I break that down? I've never seen that chemical before. I've never seen that plastic before. I can't break it down. So it's hard work. When they recognize a fruit, a veg, a protein, it's like, I know how to do this. I know how to do this. I break it down. So I love what Tamara said about, you know, think about delicious food from the earth and think about bowls of fruits and veggies. How colorful is that? How amazing is that? And that's natural. That's natural. So we should be eating a beautiful, colorful array of fruits and veggies on a regular basis. And definitely looking at a variety. If we have a variety, then we're going to get a variety of nutrients into our body. So yeah, so there are definitely different detoxes, as I said, for different bodies and what are the reasons behind it. So if there is somebody that's got a lot of pathogens in their body, that's got a lot of bacteria, a lot of viruses, a lot of parasites that, you know, has regular infections in their system, then we need to focus on a detox that is going to kill those off. And believe it or not, that is, I've got a 28-day detox for that, and it's purely fruits and veggies. So you're going to have beautiful foods, lovely recipes, and really good stuff. But if we want to do a more sustainable lifestyle, you know, we do our 90-day WildFit program, which is over the 3 months, because what we're doing there as well is we're working a lot with the mind and getting ourselves into this place of feeling our body. When we feel our body, we feel what's right for our body. With lots of refined sugars, with lots of grains, with lots of dairies, we kind of cut off that communication. And our body doesn't communicate as effectively with us as what it does when we're having fruit and veg. So we need our bodies to tell us, if I eat this, is it going to cause heartburn? Is it going to cause inflammation? Is it going to cause stomach pain? Is it going to cause headaches? Is it going to cause aches and pains in my joints? Because our food is responsible for all of those things. And so we need to listen. If there are aches and pains, if there is heartburn, if there's bloating, if there's wind, well, hang on a minute. Then I need to avoid that food, because that food is causing those symptoms. And so it's really about tuning in and starting to slow the process down and become a lot more aware and conscious of our bodies reacting to what we're putting into it. And if we can slow that process down and become conscious of what we're eating and conscious of the effect of what we're eating, we're going to be guided. We're going to be guided by our own bodies, by our own intuition, and really we're going to be on the right road for ourselves. So slow the process down, feel into the body, put a lot more living food in there, and you'll know when your body starts detoxing, because I know Margaret knows. I love talking about bowel movements. I love talking about bowel movement. So a client of mine said to me the other day, how do I know what a normal bowel movement is? Because I've had constipation, I've had diarrhea, I've had everything. How do I know what's normal nowadays? And I'll tell you a little secret. To know a normal bowel movement is after you've had the bowel movement, you do not need toilet paper. If you do not need toilet paper and it's clean, then it's a normal bowel movement. Because if you think about all the animals on the earth today do not use toilet paper because they're eating what is right for them. A lion does not eat what an elephant eats, and an elephant does not eat what a lion eats. We human beings, We need to eat what's right for our human body in order for it to function correctly. And so when you can find something as close to the human diet as possible, your bowel movements will be amazing, your health will be amazing, and you will be turning back that clock and you will be living longer.
Yeah, and as you know, you all know, I'm a vegan, and I swear by being vegan, because I have never been more healthy since I've been vegan. I got rid of a lot of aches and pains. I got a lot of trouble. Sorry, Tamara, you were going to say.
I was just going to say, I love what Kerry said about your body knowing and listening to your body. There's actually research that shows that even before the food that your body doesn't want hits your mouth, your heart rate goes up. You haven't even put it in your mouth yet and your heart rate goes up. So your body knows that we should listen to it. And a fun, easy thing to do is stop going into the aisles in the shopping center. If you stay around the perimeter of the shopping center, that's where all the fresh food and veggies and meats and all of those things are. The minute you go into the aisles, you start to get all of the processed food. So if you just stay out of the aisles, you've got a really good chance of choosing all the right things.
Absolutely. And another thing is when you are thinking about your food. So I know when you're tasting the food and it's not good for you, the heart rate goes up. But when you think about your food, some people, they go, oh, there's a chocolate. Yay, there's a chocolate. All these good feeling, all these dopamine and everything, that's all the good enzymes and chemicals come into the body. And you associate that feeling with that food. And that is actually a little bit of a wrong signal going in there, because what we have done in our, from the time we were kids, we have programmed our behavior and given rewards that are food. And so now we see chocolate as a reward and our body gets excited. And so now we've got to start retraining the body to get excited when we see an apple and excited when we actually see the Alka-Jaza smoothie or the celery juice, because like, yay, my body feels amazing with that stuff. It feels amazing. So we've got to think about what are our trigger foods and try to reward behavior with activities and not food. So if we can rather go, yay, let's do something good and go out and have an activity instead of rewarding behaviors with food, we're going to change the whole psychology around the food as well.
You'll also see that when you start eating healthily, when you start having nutrient-dense meals, instead of meals that make you full without nutrition, your body is super smart. It's going to go and make you forage and hunt until it gets the nutrition it needs. So if you keep having empty calorie foods, and when I say empty calories, it's like shades of beige, when the bread rolls the same color as the meat, the same color as the chips, same color as the onion rings, your body is going to keep searching. So you're going to keep craving, you're going to keep getting hungry, you're never going to get full, you're going to always search for the wrong things because your body is out there looking for the nutrition and you're just not giving it to it. So as you have these nutrient-dense meals, eating in a rainbow, your body's going to start getting the nutrition it needs and the cravings will stop on their own. So it's not something you have to fight long term.
Yes, absolutely. I agree 100% with that. Our bodies change and our taste buds change. So if you don't like that celery juice now, I guarantee that you'll like it in a month's time and you go, oh my goodness, that feels so good in my body. So allow time for your taste buds to change.
Especially if you're not putting sugar in all the time. And I think sugar and salt are the two poisons in the kitchen. If we can cut out, but especially that sugar and everything. I'm in America now. Everything's got sugar in it. The tomato sauce, the soy sauce, everything's got sugar. And it's so difficult. And it's a passion. You've got to have the passion to have that healthy body. So you start eating the right things. And it's not easy, especially if you eat out a lot. I go into restaurants with this one thing eat, I have to order the salad. That's it. So I think it's just getting used to that and retraining yourself to do that. So, and we're just almost ready for our wrap up now. So tomorrow, a quick wrap up from you.
I just think you deserve to feel good. You deserve to feel healthy, and every choice you make as to what food you put in your mouth, whether you choose to move or not, you're either growing older or growing younger. And you're either growing in less pain or in more pain, and everything's in your hands. And you deserve it. You deserve to feel good. You deserve to reward yourself with all the delicious, nutritious things in this world.
Absolutely. It's just amazing. And Kerry, a wrap up from you?
Yes, so I'm on board with you there. Thank you, Tamara, so much. And I always say that you are worthy and you should absolutely love yourself enough to go, right, my body deserves better. So put living food into the living body to live longer.
Absolutely. And, you know, people spend their life trying to lose weight. Here in America, everything is weight loss, weight loss, weight loss. Well, I want to tell you that I can tell you now, and they won't mind me saying, because Kerry weighs 56 kilos. And tomorrow, I bet you don't even weigh 50, because tomorrow's got a figure like, she's got a stomach like a board. It's amazing. And, you know, if you want to have an amazing body and you want to look gorgeous like they do, it is definitely all in the food. You can't think yourself thin. You can't run yourself thin. You can only eat yourself thin, and you can eat yourself to great health. And that's what, you know, at the end of the day, especially when you get to my age, because I'm now 73, your health is your wealth. And if you want to be really, it's no good having the most money in the graveyard. It's absolutely no good to you. If you are not healthy, you're going to spend all the money you've ever made trying to get healthy. So rather try and get healthy now. And think of the picture of those two ladies I showed you aged 83, and just wonder which one you want to look like. And if you want to look like the healthy one, then start now today, eating live food, putting live food into our body. I don't believe in eating meat, as you all know. I know a lot of people do, but I don't. Dairy is absolutely toxic. Grains are toxic. And just cut the toxic things out and just eat the good stuff. And you know what that good stuff is. And as the ladies have told you, as you get that food up, you know this is good and bad. And I'm like an alcoholic. I'll put that sweet in my mouth and eat it anyway, knowing that it's not good for me. I will lick that ice cream, knowing it's not good for me. But then I'll know that tomorrow I've got to eat a little bit better of the best stuff. And you know, you will not believe it. I've started to cut all those things that I used to love out more and more and more all the time. I still have them occasionally, but I don't enjoy them as much as I used to. And I enjoy being healthy more than I ever enjoyed all those fabulous things. So ladies, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you to all of you who joined, over 40 people on Zoom, and all the ladies who joined us live on Facebook. We love your comments. Send me massive comments. You can send Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter. You can email me, margaret@hirschs.co.za, or you can just WhatsApp me. My phone calls on all my Instagram pages and Facebook pages, and let me know what you thought about the talk, what you're going to do to make sure that you live a long time. They say if you live to 50, you're going to live to over 100. I'm going for 200 myself. The children born today will live till they're 200. We want to be healthy. We want to have a good, healthy life, not a miserable, sick old life. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. I'll see you next month, and we're talking about even more amazing things. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.